And we are live. Welcome everybody to Wednesday Night Fish Talk. And tonight we have the one, the only Skipper's Aquarium. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Not bad. Staying warm down here in Florida.
Actually, it was pretty warm up here today. We got up into the 50s in PA. Now it's starting to be a bloody mess. Oh, that stinking
Who we
snow
got?
melting.
That's good. Don't have to drive in the ice right now.
Yeah.
Mains, tails, furs, and fins. How you doing? Santy Doe, how you doing? Grumpy Gramps, how's everybody doing tonight? So for the people that don't know you, Skipper, where you from? Where you located at?
I'm from Central PA.
Central PA. You had to deal with a lot of snow this year?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we definitely did. Further north PA, northeast got it worse than us, but yeah, we
Now,
definitely had our fair share.
how long you been doing YouTube now? How long you been documenting your hobby in YouTube?
2 years.
2 years. You
Yeah.
enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. I find it peaceful doing live streams with people. I have my own live stream Sundays at 6 p.m. Yeah, I enjoy doing it. And I don't mind helping people out. Like, you want me to come up. Let me tell you, my experience ain't as long as most, but I have a lot of knowledge from learning a lot from a lot of different people.
Okay. So how long you been in the hobby?
I done it whenever I was a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got out of the game because I went full-time Air Force. And then I came back in 2 years ago when I set this 55 up behind me.
You say you retired Air Force?
No, I got out. I only did 6 years. Funny thing is, if I would have, you're welcome. Funny thing is, if I'd have stayed in, I'd been retiring this year. But
You know
it
what?
is what it is.
I just had those conversations lately in my head too because I was Air Force and everything. I would have been retired already for 2 years if I would have stood the whole 20.
Yeah, I'd have been done this year. I think it would have been. You're welcome, Grumpy.
How you doing, Grumpy? Now, what got you back into the hobby? What got you back into it?
This tank actually was one of my buddies that passed away with kidney cancer, and it was just sitting there in his house. And I
Mm-hmm.
talked to talked to his wife, and I told her, I said, I want to take it, and I want to do a dedication tank. And then it was up and running for quite a few months, and then one day I got tired of watching stuff on TV, and I wanted to learn more about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started getting MTA. And it really inspired me to want to keep doing other stuff, out of my element to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
So it got me back into it about 2 years ago. I've been hitting the
What
ground
fish
running.
were in that tank? What type of fish were in that tank at that moment?
Well, at that moment, totally different now because they all passed away. They were Petco fish at the time. Up Bob Kaler. And I had zebra Danios, a long fin type. I had neon tetras. I had swordtails.
Uh-huh.
And that was pretty much it to start out. And then whenever I started branching out on YouTube, my first order online was the zebra loaches.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's in it is 2 Pecos catfish, 2 angelfish, 4 true Siamese algae eaters, and actually there is one Danio that is still in there. You can see him swimming by that angelfish now. He's the
Oh
OG of
yeah,
that.
the lone survivor. He's the
He's
last of his kind.
last of the Mohican. He's been in there with all types of different fish.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you got into YouTube, who kind of got your interest first? Who were you watching?
Uh, there's actually 2 people. It was Dan's Fish and then
Good one.
Jeff Fish.
Good one. Okay. Good channel. Now, how bad is your MTS? How many tanks you got now?
10. I got
Not too
10.
bad.
No, but there's more in the basement that could be set up.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna get worse now. It's actually gonna get. You'll end up with a lot more tank. S, how you doing? Never seen you on the channel. Thank you for coming and checking us out. We got Susan, the fish mom. How you doing? Landfish Keep, how are you doing? I don't think you ever been on the channel before, but thank you. Thank you for joining us. We got Bob Kaler, heavy hitter. Now, are you breeding anything right now? You breeding any fish?
Yeah, whenever I'm trying to get the whole Corridora thing down packed, and I finally have one of my biggest first clutches, 150 eggs. But then I count them today, only 38 were fertile and they all hatched. And
Okay.
today would have been day 4. I'll probably start feeding them like first bites and stuff, see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they grow up, I'll just put them in their own tank.
How's it going, Patty? So the Corey's kind of got you very interested in breeding. I mean, that's not a bad clutch, 30 something of them living, just getting to learn now and everything. Are you gonna be hatching your own baby brine shrimp?
I'm probably going to have to, yes. I already have a hatchery and everything.
Mm-hmm. Corey's
But
are fun. Which one?
they seem to do pretty well in the first bite, so I haven't really did it. What I do whenever I put it in the water, you know how it likes to, it's like a dusting so it floats. I make
Mm-hmm.
sure it gets to the bottom. And they get
Okay.
nuts over it, so
If it works, why change it, right?
yeah. Now, eventually, I'm going to get into it to where I will have it set up to where I can feed it all the time because I plan on having other fish to breed.
Mm-hmm. What else you want to get into breeding?
I'm thinking about working on a couple guppy strains if I get a chance. I'm going to dab into the rainbows a little bit. I already have Madagascar rainbows, and I have a pair of threadfin rainbows. So whenever I decide to put a spawning mop in there, I'm going to have to do bronze shrimp for them because they're a lot smaller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, brine shrimp. It's a good method, to use when you're breeding. But I always tell everybody, you got to kind of figure out what works for you with your schedule and what works with your fish for some reason. Because I got a buddy of mine, he breeds angels, and he uses the first bite. He won't hatch baby brine shrimp, and he's having success with it. So see, that first bite seemed like it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a very very small granule to where a fry can eat it easily. I actually had some guppy fry and I was feeding that to him for a while. they hit on that right away because it floats for a
Yeah.
while.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I might try it with some rainbow fry if I get that chance.
Hmm.
Which I just got to get my butt moving and make a spawning moth, and I know I'll get eggs off the Madagascar rainbows. They actually already laid eggs with the sponge filter.
Now, what's your favorite Corey? What's your favorite type of Corey right now?
I have three.
Hmm.
I have longfin plateatus, I have longfin Aeneas, and I have the red Venezuelan. I dig all three of them, but I definitely really want to get the black ones. Technically, they're brown, but they call them black.
Oh yeah,
I want to get into them ones.
those are really cool. They're hard to find. It's hard to
Yeah.
find.
Redfish, bluefish has them right now. I just don't have the space.
That means you gotta start setting up some of those tanks now.
Well, I plan on doing that hopefully this summer. I'll start in the spring,
Mhm.
setting up some racks and stuff down in the basement, make myself a little fish room. And I'm going to keep it to where I'm not going to go nuts with, buying a lot of fish. I just want to hone on certain ones. You know what I mean? I don't have the
Oh,
space at the moment to have 40 some tanks.
you'll get there little by little. It
Yeah.
it'll keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and then you'll have a garage or a basement full of tanks, and you're like, wow, I got all this. The thing is time. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of
Yeah.
time doing, but as long as you keep enjoying it, it's good.
Well, that's the thing. It's very relaxing, so it doesn't really matter to me how many I get. Would be nice,
Hmm.
eventually I'd like for my channel to grow to where it would help pay for the hobby. But that's going to be a while.
Yeah, but it's not a bad goal to have because
Hmm.
after you reach it and you have some way of doing it, it'll help pay for the hobby. Now, not since you get into breeding, why are you getting into breeding? Are you gonna try to go breeding for profit? Are you trying to just sell online, sell to stores? What's your goal with your breeding?
When I first started doing it, it was just satisfaction.
Hmm.
The job that I have, which is being a corrections officer, the only thing I accomplish whenever I leave work is going home. So whenever I come home and I work on my fish tanks, it's the accomplishment of keeping life and also making life too. And being in the military, I ended up getting, unfortunately, PTSD from it. It
Yeah,
definitely helped with that.
it's a big help. Yeah.
And honestly, I'd rather sit and watch my fish aquarium when it used to be in the living room before we had to get some different furniture. I'd be sitting there watching TV, but I'd be looking over at the fish tank.
Yeah, it's been
Eventually,
it's
once
been pro-
we,
it's been proven that fish tanks are real relaxing. So
yeah,
that's why you find them in doctor's office. You find them everywhere. They're good. It's a good hobby, especially for PTSD.
plus I got 3 dogs. They keep me pretty busy too, 3 labs. But I mean, eventually, I would like, you know, if I do get successful at breeding, yeah, I'll sell them. Might as
Hmm.
well. Why hoard them all? If I get a good colony going and I get enough eggs getting, dropped or whatever, then I got to do something with them, and whether it's taking it to an LFS and so what if they give me $1 a fish, or sell it online,
Mm-hmm.
get a little shipping. It could happen.
Yeah, because I mean, you're gonna keep practicing. You're gonna notice, wow, I got too many fish. I need to get rid of some, And why not have it? Why not have the hobby help pay for itself a little bit?
Yeah,
It's
I
not a
mean,
bad thing.
it's not going to pay all of mine, but to help out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I said it helps with a little bit. But and being on YouTube, you will actually get people that are gonna keep watching your videos and seeing what you're doing, and they'll ask you for fish because they've seen the process that you did when you bred that fish and everything, and then they want to have some of Skipper's quarries.
Hmm.
It's-
The way I want to get my style of doing Cory eggs hatching, which I have been successful, but now I got to get the keep them alive part down packed. Uh, I'm gonna put a video out on how I do it because mine's kind of mixed.
Mhm.
I'll just say the way I do it. Well, obviously I'm gonna get them all beefed up so she has eggs. Right
Yep.
now I use frozen baby brine shrimp and frozen bloodworms to do that. How I do that is whenever I'm doing a water change, I put it in there.
Mhm.
I'll let that tank sit half empty until all the food's gone, and then I'll start putting water in it. It'll be a cooler temperature to help keep them in motion. I just did it
Mhm.
today, so who knows? Tomorrow morning, I wake up, I could have eggs again. So, and then after that, I take them off the glass or the planes wherever they lay them at the time. I put them in a deli cup. I set them somewhere where hardly any light gets to them. About after 3 days, you can start seeing the embryos form. And the third day after, and I'm also getting the unfertilized eggs out too at the same time. They turn
Mhm.
to a cloudy color. Once I
Now,
start seeing those there,
are you
what's that?
using anything in water? Are you doing anything to the water special? You're not used no
Nope,
methylene blue, no peroxide.
nope, nothing. The reason I tried the methylene blue, it worked, but I still had some eggs fungus. But the way I do it, like once I see the embryos, normally the third or fourth day is whenever they hatch. So the third day, I put them into a breeding box. I have a hang one that hangs on the front. I
Yeah.
think they're made by Marina,
Mhm.
and I'll put them in there off tank. And then it starts getting the tank water because tank water I use is the same tank that I put in that breeding box on that those quarries came from.
Mhm.
And the next morning or so, there's little babies in there swimming. That's how I get mine to hatch.
Mhm.
The key to them is the Cory eggs I found out are light sensitive. If there's a
Yeah.
lot of light,
Yeah.
they tend to fungus quicker.
Mhm.
So I could get away with not really having to sort the unfertilized eggs out with the fertilized eggs. I could wait until they're pretty much done.
Mhm.
Once they're done hatching, then I take a turkey baster in there, and that's how I clean the tank, get the uh, unfertilized eggs out, and poop. And then once I start feeding, that's how I take the excess food out the next day. Then I add more.
Yeah. I don't use methylene blue. A lot of the times hatching eggs and everything, I'm not a big fan of it. But a old trick they to do is with peroxide. Put a little bit of peroxide in there.
I heard that. All right, we'll see you, Susan. Good night.
Good night, Susan. Thank you for
Uh,
coming tonight. But now, peroxide's the old trick they use, especially like if you lose power for a few days and you got tanks and there's no way for the filters to run, throw a bottle of peroxide in your tanks. Because all that does is it just oxygenates the heck out of your water. And when you're hatching eggs, you know, the more oxygen, the less fungus you get too. So peroxide's a good trick on hatching eggs.
Yes, yeah, that was another thing I was kind of worried about was the fact that I did the Airstone one first, but because the 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 breeder box was obviously getting light every time I fed, I lost all my eggs because of the fact that there's so much light.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I took the whole deli cup thing off of LRB.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he actually hatches a lot of his eggs. He just puts them in there. When he sees fry, he'll start feeding them, and then he'll move them to their own tank. He'll float the cup for a while, then he'll dump them in.
Yep. That's a good, inexpensive way of breeding Corys. You know what I mean? And those old ways work perfect.
And
You
I
know,
learned about the light sensitive off of Oddball Aquatics.
yep. Yeah, just yeah, dark room somewhere where not too much light hits them. Throw a little peroxide in there, let them do their thing. You know, some you're gonna learn in this hobby. Some of the stuff is really not that complicated. It's more time taking. You know, a lot of this
Mm-hmm.
breeding fish is real more time taking than being complicated because it's very simple. You know, a lot of these fish to breed is just you got to take your time with it and you got to pay attention to the steps you got to do.
And I learned also over my short 2 years of doing this, that uh, I listen to advice of people that have done it for a long time, or I also like to listen to what has worked for that person. Now that doesn't mean it's going to work for me. Is it bad to try it? No, it's not. If it
Mm-mm.
works for me, sometimes like I could tweak it to the way that it'll work for me, and then that's how I do things.
Oh yeah, that's the trick. That's the easiest part of this whole thing. Just make it work with your schedule and the way you're doing things and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's method is gonna work the same because not everybody has the same conditions in that tank as you. You know, me and you could have 2 10 gallons right now trying to breed the same thing, and we might have to change our method a little bit because my water is completely different than your water, and the way I do my stuff is completely different. You know, and just that's the way it is. We're controlling a habitat in a glass container, you know, and everybody's gonna do it a little bit different than each other.
That's also like this 55. I can go 2 weeks without doing a water change. I have a bunch of plants in it, uh, and I don't overfeed it. I've learned a lot from getting back into this 55. Now my other tanks, I have to do it weekly because let's face it, I got too many fish in them. That's why I got to get more tanks set up. I want to get them, species only and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I do the ones upstairs once a week because this is more of a display and enjoy it. Now, if angels lay eggs, which they have for me, well, the one ended up passing away, the other's pair. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the eggs off of whatever they're using their eggs for, and I tried to hatch them. I was not successful with them.
They're
That takes,
they're they're a little bit trickier. Angels are a little
yeah.
bit trickier, but they're not that bad.
It was more of a surprise clutch, and actually, it was on that thermostat is where they laid them the one time. It's inside the tank. That's the one you get the Petco where you got a magnet.
Yep.
It blew my mind. I was like, man, what do I do?
They
So
like stuff like that
yeah,
up and down them to. I use slates for my angels. I usually use slates. Or another trick is have a pleco cave standing up, and they'll use that too to lay eggs.
oh, okay.
Now, what other stuff you got? You got angels back there. You got Corys. What else are you keeping?
Well, I got 4 betas. Uh, so I do like betas.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I said I had the threadfin rainbow, Madagascar rainbow. I have red tiger platies, which that's up, GRB. Good day, mate. But they were something different I never seen in any store. Got them off of Dan's, and I've actually successfully bred them. But the weird thing was, all 3 males died. I don't. It was a while after I got them. I don't know. It was weird. So I ended up saving the babies, and I'm gonna, whenever I get them bigger, select, whatever ones I want to keep and breed, and then I'll just take the other ones in LFS or something. But
Yeah,
my she
we
has
got the red tiger platies down here and everything. What I have learned about them, because they're kind of new, not super new, but newer strain of the platies. But yeah, they're kind of weak strain. They're
yes,
very weak.
I think I'm gonna work on those and get them stronger because I noticed that because I had 6, and out of the 6, just 2 big females. And if I
Mm-hmm.
had a male, man, I guarantee they'd be dropping fry left and right. But that's another thing. I got to get them in their own tank. I need to get them playing cover for fry, this, that, and the third. I know what I need to do. I just got to make space for it. But
I would
I'm
I
gonna,
would throw a red one. I would throw a red platy male in there with those females and let them breed. And out of those babies, completely grow them out and keep all the ones that got the tiger pattern. Breed those to each other. So now you got a stronger strain because you bred in the reds, and the reds been around forever and everything. And now you're just breeding for the colors. So then you start working on the line, just breeding the tiger pattern that you want, because you might want a little bit more red, you might want more stripes. Just start picking whatever looks you're looking for on them, and keep breeding them into each other. Keep working it down the line. After a couple of generations, you'll have a nice strain.
okay. Oh, my
I'll give you
daughter.
another trick with live bears is if you breed into wild with live bears and everything, like let's say you got regular wild swordtail and you got some real fancy females and everything, but you don't have a male, you could breed in a wild green swordtail into them, and 90% of the babies are gonna be the dominant color, which is the female color. With live bears, the colors dominate more than the males.
Okay, that's good to know.
So whatever's in that, even with guppies, when you pick your females, pick the nicest females and know that they're pure, because whatever genetics those female guppies have are gonna dominate. Even though you bred them with a real nice male and everything, the female genes are gonna dominate more than the males.
Okay.
On the way they look. So that's a little trick when you breed in live bears. Is I always tell people I like looking at the females too. Some people just breed whatever female. I'm like, no, I'm very picky too with the females that I breed with my males, just so you could have good colors and good genetics with each other.
Then the only other fish that I have, it's actually my daughter. She has 3 glowfish. She's 5 years old, and she's one of them. So, all right, you want to have a fish tank? Let's do it your way.
You got a cichlid to rehome? Message me or Florida Fish Rescue's here. You can always contact him. That's another thing I always touch up on, man. Be responsible fish keepers. Because all these problems we're having in Florida. Did you see the thing, Skipper, with the arowana? The arowana they found in Florida?
Yeah, so how I saw that was through predatory fin, and he touched on that. He actually got blamed for it. Somebody tried to blame him for selling it to somebody in Florida, which in Florida it's illegal to have them. He ships them to like more northern states or somebody that would have a permit for it, and overseas. But yeah, I saw that. That's one of the unfortunate things for you guys down in Florida. You just have a lot of that down there.
Yeah, not arowana, arapaima.
Yeah,
that's what it was. The arapaima. Yeah.
I mean, the temperature is just so right down there for a lot of species, and it's fish, it's reptiles. Yeah, I did see it.
My buddy be going fishing for viejas all the time now.
Yeah.
There's a pond full of viejas. There's ponds out here full of Oscars. I mean, it's incredible the amount of invasive species you could go out there and go catch now down here, especially with cichlids.
Yeah, and I watched I don't know if you watch Blue Gabe or Deer Meat for Dinner. Blue Gabe did a video here the other day about that. He went up this farmer's channel, and they caught cichlids. He caught a snakehead. He caught. He was actually going for clown knives that was in there. And it's just people can't take care of them, then they just throw them in the main water system. They do it up here, they're going to die because they get froze to death. But they still could do damage. Like if you put it there in the summer, they'll do damage until the freeze comes. But that grinds my gears when people do that. I don't like that. Always find something like what Florida Rescue does, Ohio Fish Rescue does it. If it's somebody I know and they were like, dude, I can't take care of these fish anymore because I got to move somewhere. Well, first off, what type of fish do you have? If it's something I can house, I'll take it. Let them live their life out. I don't want to see, these fish getting dumped into waterways or even just getting flushed down the toilet.
And I tell a lot of people, your local store will take any fish up from you for free. If you really have to get rid of that fish where you have to dump it, you're not looking for no money. You just got to get rid of that fish. Take it to your local store. They're not going to say no to a free fish they could turn around and sell later. They don't. I mean, I don't know. I haven't ran into one store yet that's like that.
I was surprised. It was a couple weeks ago. I was in a Petco, and I saw this tank had a bunch of guppies in it, and there wasn't no price on it. So I asked the guy, I said, where'd these come from? We took them in. They're up for adoption. I said, I want some. What's up, Lori? And I took them home. Now, they were older and they didn't last long, but I got babies off of them. It just blew my mind that actually Petco would do it. Now, can't just show up with it. You got to call them.
Yeah.
You definitely got to call. But
yeah. And Fish Rescue has a good point. Like Petco, PetSmart, they don't take nothing over 6 inches. But the big stuff, your local LFS, they'll take them. You know, I haven't ran into one that's gonna say no to free fish, especially something like that. They could turn around and resell later on or put up for adoption. And with social media now, I mean, you could just put it on so many different networks of people, and you'll find somebody in your area. They'll be like, "Hey, I'll take them." Somebody has MTS everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what's your ultimate fish you want to get? What's that one rare fish you don't have yet, but you do want to get pretty soon?
Well, there's one. It's the,
You might
the
run.
gold, it's the gold Denison barb, actually. I'm a model on Dan's fish, and he always has them in that stinking tank behind him, and it drives me nuts because I really like them. You know? But right now, that's the fish I really want to get because it's something out of the ordinary that I ain't never seen before. I mean, that I'm gonna have to say that's it because I don't really have like a dream fish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of them all. I just if I like it, I get it.
Okay.
Grumpy Gramps, I am from Pennsylvania.
Now, are you gonna stay with the smaller size tanks, or you want to get something pretty big later on?
I've been thinking about a 125,
Okay, that's not bad.
but I haven't really decided what to do with it. That's creepy, dude. I'm actually in Bedford County, PA, Grumpy. I may
That's
know
probably
this cat.
that's probably your grandfather that retired down here in Florida.
But I haven't really decided what I want to put in it. There's so many options out there.
Now, if you had to do it right now, what would it be? If you had to do it right now, you get a chance to set up that tank and buy the fish you want. What would you do?
I honestly have no idea. I would set it up first, figure out how to shape it, and then yeah, that's a tough one. There's just so many different kind of fish out there that I could put in there. It has to be something that I would do a lot of thinking with it because especially if it's like a bigger fish. Do I want a bigger fish at schools? Do I want a bigger fish, that ends up just being one in there? I would rather have more than one fish. I don't want to have
Yep.
We'll just say I put two big Oscars in there. Well, the only thing that's going to be landscaped in there is the substrate. You know what I mean? And maybe some driftwood. But
yep.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
If I ever get to do a large display tank, I want to do like a angelfish Amazon beam. Just a couple nice angels in there and just do it all like the Amazon,
Hold up.
Oh, he's in trouble.
No,
so how's everybody doing? Land Fish Keep.
Yeah, I'm also part of the fire company too.
Oh, the fire department? There's a fire in your town?
Nah, that's a different area.
So you're full-time firefighter?
No, I'm part-time. I'm actually a full-time corrections officer. I'm just a volunteer.
Oh, another CO like Big Tank Hank.
Yeah.
I could have had some good jokes like your favorite fish is the convict cichlid, but I didn't know that. Now, What's your future goals doing this whole thing? Like, where do you see it? You know, where you want to get in the next few years with this whole hobby, YouTube in total, and everything? You just want to keep it as a hobby or more of a part-time thing?
Well, a hobby right now, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens, happens. That's how I've been doing it. I just go with it. At first, I was just listening to people in live streams, and that's all I was going to do. And then
Mm-hmm.
I ended up popping up on the hangouts at late at night. And then I was like, finally, about 6 weeks ago, I started doing my own.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So,
How's that been going for you?
oh, it's been going pretty good. I'm 5 episodes, 5 streams in. I call them fish talk episodes. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what's up, Joe? Man, that dude's cool. I like
Joseph.
him. That man is high strung. I wish I had his energy. I could use that, bud. But I just go with the flow. Whatever comes, comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. My feelings ain't going to get hurt. I'm not. I don't want to get uh upset if it doesn't. I'm not really going to get excited. I'm just going to go with the flow. That's pretty much how I do things in life, anyways. And this is how I want to do this because I don't. I mean, you set goals for yourself, but I don't want to be one of them people where I'm expecting. I'm going to set a goal to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I can't put that much
Mm-hmm.
time into YouTube. Like that's a lot of videos.
Oh
And
yeah.
equal watch time hours. No. I mean, I'll put the videos out whenever I want to. I'll do my live streams, talk to people. If people come to it,
Mm-hmm.
in mine, I at first I had some topics, and then I started. I interviewed one person so far. I'm hoping to interview somebody else. I'll bring people up and ask them questions about what has been good to them in their hobby, what has worked for you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm not ever going to do that. The way I portray my channel is to show what I have done, what has worked for me. If you want to try it, go ahead. I'm not telling you to do it. I will never do that.
Oh yeah, it's just I always look at it as our way of documenting what we're doing in the hobby, and everybody else gets to just take a look at it and see it.
And another good thing about it is you can go back to look to see what you did that didn't work and tweak it the way you want to. So it's good for us as the person that's running the channel. Man, I really messed that up. I got to fix this. Well, what did I do wrong? Now I can go back and look, especially if you documented the whole process.
Now we got a question. Any ideas of a cichlid tank for 150? I'm gonna be setting up soon. You got any ideas?
You can go small, you can go big. I don't. I would probably go with a medium-sized cichlid.
Yep.
I wouldn't go with a large one because you may only end up having two in there. You could go with a bunch of small ones, but it would be utter chaos in there, I think. Constantly fighting for territory. I would go with a medium-sized cichlid.
A medium-sized cichlid, some geophagus.
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot of the geos right now. Geos is being a hot thing too. Do some 150 with some geophagus too would be a nice thing. Um, Somebody asked me how many fish in the farm. I don't know if you mean by species or the amount of fish species. There's about 25 different types of species. Counting fish is not gonna happen. When you have just in my garage, I can't even count the amount of fish I have. Big J, how you doing? Oh, he got Mbunas already. Okay. Now back to what I was answering the question. I had train of thought. Oh, what good advice can you give somebody since you're newer in the hobby than most people? It's and you're getting your thing going. What good piece of advice can you give anybody right now trying to start in the hobby?
Go
What have
slow.
you learned?
Go slow. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just because you see people setting fish rooms up and you want to do that, don't do it right away because you're going to be impatient. Another thing that I've learned, and I've actually learned this from mistake, is patience with your tanks. You definitely now. I've done it to where I just put water in a sponge filter and I hang on the back filter and threw fish in there right away. Well, that's how I used to do it as a kid. That's why I did it at first, and it actually worked for me as a kid. But you can understand, I lived in the country, and so my water was different. This water, I don't have a lot of minerals in it because it comes from a water plant. You definitely want to take it slow and have patience. I've found out. Make sure you get that beneficial bacteria in there. There are ways to jumpstart a fish tank. I actually did a video of that with
Mm-hmm.
with a 20-gallon tub tote, so to speak. Don't get too many fish at once. Do your research on the fish before you go and buy it. I just saw this the other day and it kind of blew my mind. I was at Petco and this lady picked up 7 angelfish. She's put them on a 55. I'm going to tell you right now, 7 angelfish in a 55. Me personally, I'm going to think it's too many. Now these two are right there, full grown. I made without a work. But what she already had other stuff in the tank. I'm like, man, I would be careful with that. You're probably going to end up having to get other tanks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I just say take it slow and learn, do your research because, and I've actually talked to people that's been in the game for a long time that they're still learning. I
Yep.
feel if you're not learning, if you say that, oh man, I know everything, you might as well stop because you don't. Nobody does. Everybody has
Oh no.
different information. Just do your research before you go out and buy a bunch of fish.
That's the key thing is actually doing your research because you don't know what situation you're gonna be putting that tank into. I mean, you hear of so many crazy things people do, especially when they just see pretty fish. Next thing you know, they get a cichlid and they throw it in the tank that's just not even able to
Well,
be in that tank, but then they lose everything. Or
and this is where your big box stores it's a downfall. You go into Petco, you go into cichlid section.
Mhm.
It's all right there. It's all right there in one stack. What's in the top?
Yep.
You got these little cute albino Oscars. Somebody's going to see that, they're going to buy it, and they're going to buy a 20-gallon tank. But what they don't understand is going to bust that tank in time. They won't be able to turn it around in it. Now, would this 55 be good? Yes, if that was the only fish I had in it. But you
Yep.
need to go 55 and higher. They're going to try to keep it in at 20. It's going to get too big, and they ain't going to know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely got to do your research and read the labels if you go to the box store and get them. They tell you how big they're going to be.
Same thing with the common pleckles. They buy them
Mm-hmm.
little tiny common pleckles. Oh, beautiful. Boom. They throw it in a 10-gallon. Next thing you know, that common pleckles outgrowing it. They dumping that fish, and now
Yeah,
You
they
got
get up to
plecos.
a foot long.
Mm-hmm.
They get up to a foot long. I mean, they've been pushing that fish for even since I did it as a kid, and I'm 38. And I'm sure they were pushing before I was even born in '82. It's just something
Oh
that was
yeah.
real easy for them to, breed, and it was the, one of the most common plecas that they were able to get. They bred pretty good in ponds, and that's what they paid for.
Oh
Or if you
yeah.
got, hey, there you go, you could put a common pleca in a 150-gallon tank; it'll be fine in it. But yeah, it's just crazy. What's up, Kenny?
What's up, Kenny? Collaboration of curiosities. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, man, that's a big thing. Is always doing your research and learning. I think Grumpy said it the best. You never stop learning at all in this hobby, and especially getting around other hobbyists, you're gonna start learning their tricks and being around other hobbyists. Is there any local fish clubs in your area?
I'd have to travel to Pittsburgh or even as far as Ohio. What's nice
Wow.
though that I found out that a lot of the fish clubs are going virtual with their meetings. So I've been watching uh, Ohio Cichlid Association, MASI. I forget the full name of that. They
Hmm.
and I really watched the one of the guy that knew. Oh, well, man, he's a very successful quarry breeder. I watched that from beginning to end, and I liked it. So if I ever have a question for myself, I go back to it.
Yeah, that's been the only way to keep the clubs alive right now is doing the virtual meetings and stuff. But it's hard for some people because some people enjoy doing the whole face to face, going to the meeting, doing the different activities and everything. So yeah, the pandemic took a big hit on that.
Oh yeah. And then you got your fish swaps and some of the. Uh,
I had to go get some salt for some brine shrimp today.
oh yeah.
Now, we're getting towards the end and everything, but man, first I'd like to tell you I appreciate you joining us tonight and everything, coming out and just giving us a little bit of who you are and getting to meet Skipper and everything. I think you have a good channel, and I think it's gonna get a lot better as you keep learning both aspects from doing YouTube and doing the hobby. So I think your channel is gonna start growing. You know what I mean? It's gonna start growing naturally and everything because people are gonna take interest and see exactly how you're doing. So it's a good thing that you're doing it and documenting it in the beginning of the hobby
Mm-hmm.
because now a lot of people are gonna learn off you. You know what mistakes, what to do, what not to do as a beginner.
Yeah, I'm not scared to put out there my failures because you learn from those failures. You just got to grow off of them, and
Hmm.
don't. That's another piece of advice I have for a beginner is because if you fail at one thing in the fish hobby, just try it again. Then you'll succeed at it. You just keep trying, you'll eventually get it,
Hmm.
and then just keep growing from there.
Yep, exactly. Now, where can we find you at? What all the platforms you're on that everybody can find you?
Uh, I didn't set up a Facebook of Skipper's Aquariums, but I have Instagram. That's how you found me.
Hmm.
Uh, I have, well, obviously YouTube. I have my own channel. I live stream at 6 p.m. on Sundays Eastern Standard Time. Uh, that's pretty much it. I don't like getting on a lot of social medias. Like, oh yeah, I got TikTok, I got Twitter. I don't have those. I'm not. I'm gonna keep it low. It just gets to be too much. That's what I think.
Oh yeah, it does. It really does. I feel you on that one because I'm the same way. I'm like, yeah, it's so many different platforms. You gotta go learn them all. That's too much work. I don't have enough hours in the day
Mm-hmm.
to go learn all this other stuff. But
I'm
at least
still.
it's a good way to get your stuff out there. But to each their own. That's the way I look at it. Some people rather have like 7, 8 different platforms. I'd rather just have 2 or 3. Keep it simple.
Yeah, that's good enough for me too. And right now it's three. It's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Grumpy Gramps throwing his out there. Hey, check out Grumpy Gramps on YouTube and Facebook.
All right, I'll do that.
I got a 400-gallon. I won't put a full-grown arowana in. Arrows need a pool for.
Hmm.
Oh yes, you do. They need a lot of space. I like monster fish, but I just can't keep them, and I won't keep monster fish because I can't, give them the condition that they need. You know.
The only way I'd do that is if I could do what Rob does on predatory fins. Is him having that whatever thousands of gallon tank that he has set up. That would be the only way I would do
Oh yeah, that tank humongous.
it. But I mean, it's the right situation for him. You know what I mean. It's I don't know. I just can't get over with what some people do with the monster fish. Well, hey, I'm gonna get a red tail catfish. Listen, you better go do what Ohio Fish Rescue did, Rich did, and dig a freaking pool for it.
I wish somebody could make the red tails a lot smaller.
They
Then I'll
they
have.
they have short bodies, but they still get wide, and they don't get as
Yeah,
long. They still get big heads on their work. Go up to the
yeah. I'm
front.
talking about. I would love a small little 5, 6 inch red tail. That would be perfect. Of catfish that small, they looks just like a red tail. That would be amazing right there.
That's why he's picked this catfish, man. They get up 5, 6 inches.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And if you want to call fish, you put them in there. That if they're big enough to fit in their mouth, they're gone the next morning. Still don't
Oh
know
yeah.
how that zebra Daniel is doing there, but it is what it is.
He's quick. That zebra Daniel got to be fast for them not to catch him.
He getting old though. Yeah, you can tell he's getting the age on him. He might be a snack one of these days. Hey, that's part of the circle of life. I don't get mad over it.
And I'm not. I'm surprised the angels when they bred in that tank didn't kill him because angels get very aggressive. When they breed.
That man's trooper. He must have superpowers or something in that fish tank. It's one of them things.
Yeah.
I could probably put 6 more in there, and he'd still be the only one survive. It's just, he was one of the original fish in there. Normally, if it's an original fish, they tend to let them alone. It's kind of weird. But you got to introduce a new smaller fish in there. It's probably going to get beat up a little bit.
That's true. Yeah. If Harmony's working fine in the tank, a lot of times there's no point of adding anything new to it.
What? I just learned something tonight.
Oh,
Red
the
tails get
shedding of
their
the red
shit.
tail.
Yeah, that's nuts. But also cool at the same time.
It's crazy. Well, again, man, I really don't like to do my streams over an hour because I really appreciate people's time and everything. And I thank everybody for coming out tonight and joining me and Skipper and watching us just talk fish for a whole hour. Again, man, I appreciate it. Now, you got any last words you want to say?
Just keep it easy. That's all I got to say. I'm not good with outros. Just goodbye, good night.
Well said. Keep it easy. Well, everybody keep it easy tonight. You guys have a good one.